Dear all, good morning. Good morning to all of you. This is the new lesson 5, the summit within. The summit within. Summit means the top point. And before you read, I'm going to read the before you read point. Major SPS Ahluwalia was the member of the first successful Indian expedition to Mount Everest in 1965. How did he feel when he stood on the highest point in the world? Let us hear his story and his words. Climbing the summit, and then the more difficult task of climbing the summit within. Before you read, this is the story of Major HPS Ahluwalia. He was the member of the first successful Indian trip to Mountain Everest in 1965. This was the highest point world record of Major Ahluwalia, and this is the timing to listen the story of his successful words in the tongue of Ahluwalia. Means Ahluwalia is enjoying the trek, and Ahluwalia was writing in his own words. So all the emotions which surged through me means arise through me, started to grow up in me as I stood on the summit of Everest, looking over miles of panorama. Panorama means the view of wide area, the view or the scene of the very large area. Whenever we stand on the top of any floor, top of any building, then we can watch a large area from the top floor. So that one is the grand area, the very wide area, very great area, large area. Scene is called panorama from the highest point. Looking over miles of panorama below us, the dominant one I think was humility. The physical in me seemed to say, thanks God, it's all over. It's all over. However, instead of being jubilant means, however, being an extra happy, jubilant means over happy or very happy because of success. Was it because I had already done the ultimate? Sorry. However, instead of being jubilant, there was a ting of sadness. Ting of sadness means sad, shade of sadness, or the little moment of the sadness. Was it because I had already done the ultimate in the climbing, there would be nothing to climb, and all roads hereafter would lead down? What happened in this paragraph, first paragraph? In the first paragraph, when Mr. HPS Ahluwalia has arrived at the top point, at the top summit of the Everest, then Major Ahluwalia has seen a very wide area from the top point of the Mount Everest, and Major Ahluwalia has seen a wide area. Wide area means wide panorama from the Everest. And Major Walia's physical moment, Major Walia physically was thinking. Physically means from the Means his body was really very tired, and he was thanking to God that definitely it has been done, because it has been started his journey from many days. So Aluwalia was working from many days, and then this was the time when he has covered up, he has completed the journey of up to Mount Everest. And physically, he was very much tired, and he was saying, "Thank you, God." But from the mentally, from inside of the body, Mr. Aluwalia was very happy, overjoyed. He was jubilant, and he was jubilant also from the successful emotions. And there was some also thing of the sadness, thing of the means some points, some something moment of the sadness also, because he was thinking that he has completed the climbing walk. He was thinking that he has completed the journey. There was nothing remaining untouched. So he has thought that he has completed everything. So there is no extra homework, there is no extra work remaining for his next work. So he has climbed up to the topmost Everest, and there is nothing better than, or better, higher place to climb. So he was unhappy, and he was really he was also feeling about the sadness also. So it was his own thinking that he was not being very happy. He was also being sad on that time whenever he was at the top of the success. Then he was thinking that there is nothing, something extra, wherever he can climb. So by climbing the summit, I'm going to read this: climbing of the summit of the Everest, you are overwhelmed by a deep sense of joy and thankfulness. It is a joy which lasts a lifetime. The experience changes you completely. The man who has been to the mountains is never the same again. As I look back at life after climbing Everest, I cannot help remarking about the other summit. The summit of mind, no less formidable and no easier to climb. So, by climbing the summit of the Mount Everest, you are overwhelmed by a deep sense of joy and thankfulness. Means whenever you try to climb the Mount Everest. Definitely, your planning is to go up to the summit, up to the top of the Mount Everest. So you are really looking overwhelmed, overjoyed, overconfident by the deep sense of joy and thankfulness. Definitely, it is the joy, it is the enjoyable moments which lasts a lifetime. Means you enjoy this experience up to the lifetime. I don't know why, but you are overjoyed on that time whenever you decide for any planning, or decide for any target of the Mount Everest summit. So on that time, the experience changes you completely. Experience of that time was really very essential and important. The man who has been to the mountains is never the same again. And if any man is trying to go up to the mountains, then his behavior, his mental motion, there are a lot of changes in the life of the man who became the mountaineer. Means the man who decide for climbing on the mountain, his behavior, and the man became changed completely from his its past behavior. As I look back at life after climbing Everest, I cannot help remarking about the other summit, the summit of the mind, no less formidable and no easier to climb. Whenever HPS, whenever HPS Aluwalia look back at the time after climbing the Mount Everest, he cannot recall, he cannot remark the points, the difficulties and the problems and enjoyments during the summit expedition. Whatever the problems, whatever the difficulty were at during the journey of Mount Everest climbing, he cannot explain properly. It was little formidable and no easier to climb. It was really not easier to climb. Okay, this was enough today. Thanks a lot. Have a nice time.